Well, sweet baby Jesus. What's up? This is Tinkle time. This is Chris Tinkle. I'm here with good friend. We haven't seen each other in a while, but every time that we see each other, it's like one of those things that I'm like, oh shit, I feel like we were like back at the punchline again,
Right.
hanging out, dude. Ty Barnett, what's up, buddy? How you been?
What's
Man?
good, bro? Yeah, and like we were saying before we started, it's weird because you don't realize you've been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you come around, you hang out with people that have been doing it a long time as well. So you're like, oh wow, hey, what's going on? How you been? And I remember like the last time I saw you, we had lunch. We had at Birds down on Franklin. That was the last time I actually saw you, and we hung out for a minute. Now, I don't know how many years ago that was.
Was that in Seattle?
LA, right down
Oh,
the
that's
street.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
the little spot right down the street. And I don't know if you were, I don't know. I think you were visiting. You were just here for a little bit, and I caught you like either on the tail end or something, and you were heading out, and we just had lunch real quick.
Yeah, dude. So what's funny is that, dude. So so after our lunch, I went to go do Doug Vincent's podcast, but he didn't tell me it was like a special, like celebrity edition. And I walk in and fucking Weird Al, he walks in, and I'm like, oh, fucking weird. Oh, and also, by the way, every artist has to bring one like free like prize for somebody. So my new album came out at the time, but they didn't send me them yet. So I had a fucking piece of cardboard with like it looked like a coupon shit. Dude, and fucking Weird Al shows up with a bag of like backstage passes from the 80s, like a fat single.
Whoa.
And then and the third guest was Eli Roth, dude, who's that like
shit.
Dude, so this guy shows up with his entire collection of like Blu-ray movies, like 10 movies, dude, and I just have a fucking cardboard. I wish Tyler.
Can I just add that to the
dude, that so bad
collection plate there for you guys? They say less is more, right? Anybody? No? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that my coupon got lost at the bottom of all the cool shit that they were giving.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what's weird though? Let me ask you, how was that when you saw Weird Al? How much of you were fanboy and how much of you were like working colleague? We're here in the same sense.
Little. I didn't know I liked him that much until I saw him, and then I was like, "Oh, that's right, dude. I have a lot of fond, like, feelings about that dude. Like, I remember as a kid thinking it was goofy, but then also being very excited that he was actually also very, very good at like the music part of it.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's hard. It's hard not to like Weird Al. And with cancel culture being a thing, there are certain people that you put in a category like please don't have something fucked up in your life to where they can't.
I know. Right? That's a really good point, dude. You're right. He's definitely on the list.
Yeah. Yep. Him. And then I realized this the other day.
Have like another Pee Wee Herman with Al, you know what I mean? Like not now.
Yeah, and when that happened with Pee Wee Herman, I mean, you were like as a kid watching the show, you're like, man. And then when you see Paul Rubin, all you have to do is see the mugshot, and you're like, yeah, that kind of seems about right.
Dude. Right. And then when you get older, you like realize like, dude, he had in-laws in town. He didn't want to hang out with anybody. He's like, I'm gonna go get drunk and fucking beat off, dude. Like, dude, I haven't been there, but I haven't been that far from there when you're just like,
I know those places. There's a place in Seattle, downtown Seattle. When I used to work at the hospital, there's a place called the Lusty Lady. And I was actually talking about this with my friend the other day. And what it was is like one of those slide things where the window thing would go up and you put a quarter in and they dance and do the thing. And it's funny how you look at those things when you're younger, and it's just as a dude in your mind, you're like, it's a naked woman. That's all I care about. Yeah. Then when you get older, you start seeing life a little different, all these different things. I remember walking past that same place years later and thinking, God damn, they must have fucked up so many people.
Like, dude, if you walk quietly, you can hear all the broken dreams.
Yes. And I'm like, man. So, but like I said, with Weird Al, and it was somebody else I said is the same way. It was close with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman was close. Like a hot second when he got in that accident, and I think he was in the car with like a distant relative that he was rumored to be messing around with. So when I hear about Weird Al, anytime I you go back and you see the classics, And he's in a weird place because he can never, even because he does parodies. So it's very, do you ever even really judge a parody as good or bad? I don't think you really do. A parody is just like, they can never be shitty. You know what I'm saying? They may not be as popular as the other parodies, but they can't be shitty.
Well, he's also, so like with that, like music comedy. So the one thing I always see that like people make the error is, so if you have a song, then it's the lines up to the chorus, and then the chorus is the punchline. But if you're just doing the chorus 4 times, then you've done the same punchline over and over again, and that's why I see a lot of steam get lost. But he's one of those dudes who like every line he'll like switch something up and like make it entertaining through the whole way. So you're just not like, oh, here's I laughed already two times. I don't want to laugh.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Like watching his and having that longevity. I mean, you think about it. Weird Al has been around steadily since the 70s. When you think about it, I mean, you know,
my friends' kids play Fat all the time. Like they're constantly playing his stuff.
I love it. Yeah, man. So yeah, dude, it's good to see you. And where you at now? Because
I am in San Jose. I was headed to Vegas because there's a lot of opportunity. You know, if you're like a middle act who's not like famous yet, it's a really it's like a really good. It was almost a good place until the pandemic happened. So I'm definitely gonna head back there. Plus, I'm like, I don't want to move to LA and I don't want to move back to the East Coast. So, but I also want to be in a place where there's always shit going on.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's why I decided I can't do it anymore. I have to be able to look and be like, oh, if I could have scraped together $100, I could have watched this fucking Tyson Jones debacle. Oh, dude, are you gonna watch it?
Nah, man. You know what? First of all, I've seen Tyson train, so that alone, it was inspiring, you know, to see that.
Oh, you did?
I'm not about to watch it. I mean, I'll catch the highlights, bro, because, you know, I mean, as an older person, I know I don't want to see myself trying to do shit
That's what I tell dude. I'm 45. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, dude, I'm not. It doesn't impress me. If he could just do it, I'm not that impressed because I know he's not going to be able to do it at a high level, and I don't want anything to happen to either of them.
Exactly. It's like I want to remember you when you guys are just knocking motherfuckers out and just like. I think about, you know, sometimes I remember when I was in my 20s and I was going to the gym a lot and playing ball, and I remember thinking I would always want to be able to play. And I remember playing with a guy one time that was 50 and being impressed because the dude could actually hoop. And so I remember thinking, man, that's cool. I'll be able to play when I'm 50. And man, I haven't been on a basketball court competitively in years. And the other day I was putting some stuff away and I found my old gym bag that had my old shoes in it and my ball in it. And I was like, man, you know what? Maybe tomorrow I may try to go. And then I just kind of took a step and realized that my back was still hurting from the day before. I was like, no, we're good. we're just gonna go ahead and put this back up on the shelf, and we don't want to hurt anything. So I'm not gonna watch it, but I will definitely be looking for the highlights because here's the thing with Tyson. The fondness of Tyson was that he was always like, even if you knew the fight was going to end quickly, you still were there just to see how badly he was going to knock the person out.
Yeah.
So knowing that it's probably not going to be that, and then I just read something where it's going to be like a bunch of different rules and shit. So it's really an exhibition, and it's not going to be an exhibition like Apollo Creed and Drago exhibition. Not going to be that one. It's going to be a real exhibition. Everyone will walk away.
What's up?
Everyone will walk away fine. There'll be no throw in the damn towel. There'll be none of that.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I know why Tyson would do it because he's gone through like 3 tigers and like 4 fortunes. So that doesn't surprise me. But like Joe Jr. is like, dude, you have a job already for HBO. And you've been borderline losing that job because you can almost barely talk as it is, and you've been holding on for a decade, dude. It's like, I feel like it's just like, you're like testing fate with one shot from Tyson that's just like that.
Well, you know what? To go back to the Rocky analogy. Remember, Rocky had that one. His eye was hanging on by a thread, and she was like, "If you get hit in the eye one more time, you're gonna go blind. So you should just not do this." And I think I gotta think and hope for for both of their sakes that they set up these rules and say, hey man, look,
yeah,
people want to see this, but neither one of us want to be fucked up after this. So how do we do this? Put some money in our pocket and enjoy our days. I don't think either one of them is going in there with something to prove. Like Tyson's not going in there like, I'm gonna knock his head off in the first point. It's not that. He's not doing
that. Dude, wouldn't that be awesome if all of a sudden like it just gets fucking real to him and when he's walking out? Because there's two different Tyson walkouts. You said it earlier, like the young Tyson, that was part of the thing earlier, was that part of the joy of watching him fight was that walk down the aisle and the other guys walk down when you're like, oh yeah, that guy already lost, dude. Yeah. You just look at it, you're like, oh, that guy already quit already, dude.
It's like, hey, you telling somebody on the phone like, yeah, give me about 90 seconds. I'll be with you in 90 seconds. I'll watch the card real quick. Yeah, man, I don't really, like I said, but I am definitely gonna check the highlights out because it'll be interesting to see how it was and all that. But I can't. Is it pay-per-view? If it is, I'm definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I think I'm gonna have like a little Zoom party, dude. So I will we'll talk off air and then I'll show you. I mean, if you want to hang out and watch it, because I
I wouldn't mind seeing it just to kind of get a peep at it. But it was like I'm always the nostalgia, and as weird as you get older. I'm 48, and you say you're 45. So the nostalgia of things I always look at, and I'm like, man, like I was watching Vacation the other day, the original Vacation, the best one, the best one. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I remember loving this movie so much that all the vacations that came after it, I judged by this original Vacation.
Yeah.
And more so, I judged the reboot with Christina Applegate and Ed Helms. I judged that by the original, and I was like, it's just not as good as the first one. So, and when I think about two old ass fighters going at it, which now here is the other part of this though, Chris, is that I would not say this to either one of their faces.
Oh, dude, dude, that is all saying. And look, I'm like total fanboy. I can't. What I'm saying right now makes sense, dude. No. Yeah, so all of us, all of the light shit talking is just because we're both older, and I don't want to do, like you said, I don't want to see like two old people fight for any reason, dude.
No, I know. Even if there's some, you ever have an argument over a parking spot or someone in line, and and there's a moment in the argument where it actually makes total sense to you to be going that's hard over this type of thing, and then on the drive home, you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done all that shit.
Dude, I did that once. I was walking into a Walmart and I was having a really bad day, dude. And this guy was eating a fucking soft taco from like Taco Bell or something. No, it was like Del Taco. That's what it was, like bootleg tacos, dude. It wasn't even like. And he was putting the sauce. It was so gross. He would put a sauce whole packet on one bite and would bite it, and then would like throw out the sauce packet out the window. And I walked by. And he did like 3 times, and as I walked by. On the third one, I just look and I'm like, fuck, dude. And the guy was like, he's like, what, dude? Say something. And I'm like walking, and I turn around, I'm like, dude, put your shit away, dude. And then he's like, he's all, you do it. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're talking about. Why would I? And I just,
why would I put away your mess?
Yeah. And then I was like, and then it was clear that this guy was bigger. It was also clear that the girl he was with probably also would have jumped in the fight for him. And then I go into Walmart and I'm like just grocery shopping and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, am I gonna have to buy like a weapon so I have something to hit this dude with? Like,
hilarious.
So for 20 minutes when I was shopping, I was like, oh dude, am I gonna have to fight? And I walked out like, and their truck was there, but there was no one in the car.
Oh, you know what, man? I had a moment like that. I was with my wife and she walked in. We both got out the car, but I was still at the car. So she was walking in the store. And so as I come from around the other side of the car, I see her looking back at someone that obviously had said something or done something. So I look and I see over, it's this dude who's looking at her, not necessarily menacingly, but go ahead.
Oh, dude. So, hey, I got to pause for 1 second because my like Ethernet cord is not plugged in. So, dude, hold that and we'll go right back because if it's not, this is going to be all like pixelated. So, 1 second. All right, dude. So sorry, dude. Whew.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, dude. I'm so glad I caught it, though. Oh, my God, dude. I've had like 2 shows where, because my roommate and I share the same space. So sometimes we like we'll take the cord away and I like, so. Okay, dude, because I definitely want to hear the story. Dude, as soon as you said, well, I was with my wife, I'm like, I'm in, dude.
Oh, bro, you listen, man.
All right, dude, so what happened, dude? All right, what happened?
Here's what's hard about it sometimes is because there's a part of me that is always like, no, come on, man, you really should be rational. But there's the protector in me that wants to be like, hey, I want you to know if someone tries to fuck with you, I got you back.
Yeah.
So as I come around the corner, I see the dude, and he's looking at her like he said something to her. And so I asked my wife automatically, I'm like, is everything cool? And she just kind of looks over at him, and I'm like, and man, without even thinking, without even thinking, I was like, yo, everything cool, bro? Everything good? And he's like, yeah. I said, okay, all right, no problem. He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm just wondering why the fuck you staring at my wife, bro. That's all, And he was like, man, I don't have a problem. I said, okay, just want to make sure there's no problem here. And so we walk in towards the store. And as we walk in, I happen to turn and see him staring at me. And that's when I was kind of like, oh, okay, this dude really. So I walk up towards him as he's walking in. I'm like, what the fuck you want to do, bro? What the fuck do you want to do? And now mind you, Chris, also we're dealing with a lot of frustration. The pandemic's going on. I'm mad about politics. I'm mad about so it's a culmination of a bunch of shit.
Oh yeah,
in that moment. And luckily, he kind of walked off. But just like you said, the whole time we're in the store, I wasn't so much worried about him physically doing anything like with his fist. But I was like, he looks kind of mass shooterish.
Oh no! Oh, dude, he got the white guy crazy eye, dude.
Yes, I was like, so the whole time we're in the store. So a lot of times I'll go in a whole nother part of the store. I'm like, I'll just meet you back here in a second. I'm gonna look. The entire time in the store, I'm like, nope, we got to stay together the entire time.
Oh no!
I played the whole scenario out in my head. I got to watch her the entire time.
Girl, we should go hang out in like sporting goods. There's a lot of like weapons that we could throw there.
Oh, bro, that's matter of fact, that's where if an apocalypse breaks out, you want to be in a sporting goods store right next to a grocery store. That'd be the perfect scenario.
And like the pharmacy, because all bets are off, dude. All bets are off. Let's party, dude.
That's good.
All bets are off, dude. Yeah. Come on, dude. Come on, everybody.
Hey, so I'm meant to ask you something. Last time I talked to you, did you stop smoking and then start it again or no?
Yeah, actually, the last time I saw you in Seattle. Remember a few years ago? I was headlining the Underground, and you were working on. You were gonna film something. And you came by and we like hung out, but like you're with like hella friends. So yeah, you guys have, and it was like, but yeah, that was the last time I saw you there.
Okay, but and then so how long did you stop?
I went completely sober from everything for like 2 years maybe, but then, that's I don't like it, dude. And in fact, that's a great segue because my one of my sponsors is a marijuana company. So if you don't mind, can I do my little hey, Jaden/Journey.com, check them out. They make the Jaden's Juice CBD, which is the 20-to-1 serum, which has been featured in like a couple Netflix movies. So this guy's really cool. So he was a father whose son was having like a bunch of seizures, like 500 a day, and then he started researching it because the medicine they were giving him was making his son worse, and like he wasn't even having any kind of childhood. So he went and like started researching CBD and made his own serum, and then his son seizures dropped to like 5 or 10 a day. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
man. You know what's crazy about that is it's weird that now it's different because more places have welcomed it, and you see people more making businesses out of it. And all it's legitimized. Except
my mom's asking me about like CBD. You're like, what?
I know, and that's so it's I love it because, like I said, for me, I don't think I ever I didn't smoke for a long time, and then when I started, I went hardcore, like blunts and all that shit, which I can't even do blunts anymore now. Bongs, I haven't touched a bong in years. I don't do any of that stuff. And even when I do smoke now, it's really, bro. When I say I smoke like a straight up senior pedestrian. I take literally one puff of my favorite strain and then I immediately put it out, and then I go sit on the couch and or go do what I gotta go do. I don't do ciphers no more. I don't do any of the extra shit. And here's what's really crazy is that I don't like smelling like weed when I walk into places, especially places of business. Remember how like back in the day, in the punchline days, we wouldn't care. I mean, shit, you walk into the punchline, getting ready to do your set, and I just smoked.
Yeah.
And what's your point?
I think we all smell like it because it was all in our pockets.
Exactly. Yeah. Now I don't smoke in the car. In the house, I most of the time go out on the balcony. I just don't like the smell of it around like that. That's why I like my pen. But I've changed my whole thought process on it now because I still enjoy it, but not to where like I don't want other motherfuckers to know how much I enjoy it when I'm around, especially if I'm trying to conduct business. I can't walk into a place like, okay, so what time are we starting the show? I'm like, I don't know. What time, Snoop? And I'm like, oh, God damn it. That's me. All right. That's me.
Yeah, because it's funny is even though it's like, I think you said it, but even though it's like legal and more widespread, there is still a little like, if people don't do it, it's still like people still schedule it as like an actual drug, like who don't know any better. Yeah. So it is a good idea, better safe than sorry, and not like wave shit in people's. I remember once a cop saw me on this, I was smoking, and I was outside of an open mic, and I was smoking. It was like a giant, I don't know why someone had a giant glass pipe, dude, but it was a giant glass pipe, and I was hitting it, and a cop was at the stop sign literally 10 feet from me, dude, and he just looked at me and just fucking shook his head like he was so disappointed in me as a human, like, dumb, dude. And that kind of shit was like, oh yeah, that's right. Not everyone's fucking doing comedy, and like, yay! Like other people have shit to do, dude. Like not everyone.
Well, but see, that's why I always say like I have my favorites are sativas or hybrids. Like I lean more towards
definitely. I can't do the others at all.
Yeah, I can't do indicas. Like I think there's an indica that I keep in the house for like when I'm like, all right, I physically am not going to be doing anything today. You know what I'm saying? So those moments, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll keep one around, but for the most part, it's sativas or hybrids. And I found a strain that I like now. It's called Euphoria.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's actually is great. It is not, there's no downside to it. But I also do it in moderation. I am one of the most I'm one of the most like you would think that I smoke weed for the first time ever if you smoke with me, because you'd be all set and be like, all right, we about to smoke the whole joint. And then I kind of look at the joint like, why not save some for tomorrow? Why you gotta smoke the whole joint today? Just smoke a little bit now. You're good. Go conduct your life. Don't sit on the couch and do nothing. So that's where I'm at now. So now I'm like, I remember and for a while, I got totally off of leaf. I really was just doing my pen, because the pen, and it's still one of my favorites. It's a 4-to-1 CBD, so it's more CBD than THC. And then when everything got really stressful, like in the last year or so, I was like, yeah, I might have to pull out those pre-rolls that I had in there for a while.
Yes, right, so, dude. I don't anyone who didn't start playing video games or start at least minimum smoking weed.
Yep.
I wonder what the fuck's up, dude. Because I see, like, I mean, dude, I know lots of people who fought the good fight, especially once the election and shit started coming around too. Then it was just like, oh, dude, now we have to deal with this bullshit. Like, dude, it's hard enough as it is. Like,
bro, I walked into the dispensary, and I hadn't been in this one. I think it was my first time going there, and then when everything started popping off and getting worse, and I'd gone through all the pre-rolls that I had, then I started going in, and they started knowing me like, hey, what's going on, Ty? How's it going? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, no, shit is stressful, bro. But then I still realized like I do have my favorites and my tolerances. Like I got a tincture to help me sleep.
Yeah.
So I did get that, and then so I tried that just to kind of sleep through the night. But other than that, man, I'm telling you, bro, I can't. The stuff I used to do, there's no way in the world that I could be that kind of high now. None.
Yeah. I have to I am so stressed out all the time, and I feel like there's a baby elephant on my chest all the time that I like can't smoke more than a few just to get a head change and then start like because like there's no I really don't have to there's not a lot of like sit around and like scratch my ball time right now because
Right.
I feel like everyone else is like trying to figure out what the fuck that like when's it gonna start again? When's like so it's so weird though. Anyone who doesn't like or like did you start any new hobbies also or anything or?
Yeah, well, I mean, you see, I got my camera here. I actually have a few cameras set up and some lights and stuff in my green screen. What I started doing more was learning that stuff more and learning, different ways to film stuff. And I'm still in my head kind of thinking about going to film school, but whenever I bring that up to people, they're like, just go to YouTube. It's like YouTube.
That's the problem, dude. No, that's dude. See, that's the problem, man.
I know, and that's so what I did was, like I said, I did start learning. Like I've always had my web series. This is the bullshit I'm talking about, but that's more weekend update type format. And then I started another limited series, which is I still do it, called Me, Myself, and Ty. And that kind of came out of me playing around with cloning myself in the videos. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me do, me talking to myself. So it was me trying to rationalize with my more crazy self. So that cool. Kind of went into, so all those little things kind of came out of the quarantine where I was like, let me really learn how to do these things because I am interested in, you know how it is, bro. There is, we do stand up and then stand up is fine and it's great. But then what this year has taught me is that could be taken away.
Yes.
Like that. It could be gone just like that. So I said, man, I should probably learn to do some of these other things. And that's really what I picked up. I still have my guitar, so I kind of play around with the guitar a little bit, but I really I'm trying to focus on this more than I have been.
And so do you find as someone who would be classified as a boomer by anyone who's a dickhead? Did you find a hard time because I had to do the same kind of thing? I had to learn a bunch of shit from scratch.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like, wait, how did I learn earlier in my life?
I know.
How did I get through? How did I get through college, dude?
I know.
Why is it so hard right now? Like, I mean, so I actually did take a bunch of different time off from weed once I had to learn something new. Because I would try on a Monday, I would smoke, and then I would be like, all right, let's figure out Adobe Premiere, and then after like an hour, I'm like. None of this retaining, dude. None of this.
Man, but I gotta tell you, man, I was doing Final Cut, and so everything I learned how to do edit wise was on Final Cut. So I was actually really apprehensive about trying to learn Premiere. And then I had an old Mac, and you know how Mac is; they keep upgrading all the time. They keep updating, and so eventually, the operating system on my old Mac became so outdated that it wouldn't let me do anything with any new software. So by the time in order for me to learn Premiere, I basically was forced to get rid of Final Cut. But I will say the good thing is, and this is the good thing about YouTube, is that you can go learn. First of all, customer service, I don't know when the fuck it got as shitty as it is, but you can't call anyone on the phone and say, hey, walk me through this. Those people don't fucking exist anymore. So I would go to YouTube, and I remember I was doing a ship, and I was gonna be, and you've done. I don't know if you've ever done a ship before, but the internet is shitty, and then when it is working, the shit is like $30 a minute. This is some ridiculous price of shit. So I said I was gonna be gone for about a week or so. So I downloaded a bunch of tutorials of Premiere to take with me on the thing. And so I spent my days in the room learning the stuff like out of force because I had nothing else to do. And so I was kind of just playing. And by the time I got off the ship, I knew how to do basic stuff, And so, that was about a year or two ago. And now I know how to use it. And to be honest with you, Chris, I'm actually glad that I learned how to use it because you can do more stuff than you could do with Final Cut. And there are a lot of shortcuts, no rendering, you ain't got to do all this extra shit.
Yeah. It's pretty once you kind of get it down, but goddamn, dude, it is really like that first couple of days when you're just like, what? and also it's like the same. They use different words for the same kind of thing. So they call something else, and then you're like, what's a bin? And you're like, oh, you mean a folder? Fuck, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, look at her. I'm like, what's a bin? I'm like, that like, so if you're high, that shit will set you off on a 3-hour.
Oh my God, bro. I had to, that's why I said I couldn't. I would start out thinking like, maybe if I smoke and watch this, then it'll be easier for me to not be as frustrated. And then I was like, wait a minute, if I smoke too much, then I probably won't get the details of what I need to get. And then I kind of go back and forth. So once I learned to do, and then my podcast, I do a podcast with my friend Ian Harris. You know Ian Harris?
Yeah, I do. I know Ian.
Yeah, so Ian and I, we do our podcast that we've been doing now for a few years, Critical and Thinking. So at first we were doing it in an actual studio, which used to be in Koreatown, and then pandemic hit, which seems to be that's how everything is going to be now. Is post and pre pandemic. It all went, and when I just said this to you, it reminded me of Dwayne Perkins, right?
Yeah.
So Dwayne has this joke. And I always tell people whenever I see him do this joke, like I hate joke thieves. I despise joke thieves. I said, but if I was a joke thief, that would be the joke that I would take. And because this joke is that, yeah, man, you never forget getting punched in the throat. Like it happens it's a weird thing that it's such a rare thing that happens that if it happens, you chronicle your life based off pre and post throat punch.
Oh, like, that's fun.
Someone would be like, hey man, how have you been? He's like, oh, see, things have been cool and everything. And see, then I went over here, did this, and then I got punched in the throat. And then I did, and then so he kind of did this whole thing. So now a lot of the references now are pre and post COVID, because we used to do it in the studio. We'd be in there together, and we had a producer would do everything. Now we do everything through Zoom. And so like I said, which in some ways is easier because I can do the show and just be back in the living room in no time. But there are some things that are missing from it. But yeah, other than that, man, I really, because I miss stand-up, I really do. But I ain't gonna front, bro. This year kind of was a reflecting point, because you're like, damn, I spent fucking 20 years building this shit, and
yeah, dude.
And now motherfuckers are trying to threaten that it won't be around. God damn. So it's been a little weird.
Yeah, like put so much love into something that like doesn't fucking love you back. And you're like, wait a second, what?
Bro.
Yeah, it's
you don't get the and I always tell people, like, I joked about this. My wife was like, she's like, well, have you thought about what you would do if there's no more entertainment? And I told her straight up, I said, listen, if you're asking me if I'm going to go get a 9-to-5, you can stop that thought now. I said, I'll sell crack before I go to a 9. I'm not doing, and not because I'm lazy. That has nothing. I love working. I've worked ever since I was 15. That's not the issue. It's that I built this. Just like you built your career. You had a thought in your head. You said, I'm going to put pen to paper. I'm going to go do these gigs, road work. I'm going to stay in shitty hotels, deal with it.
We also have albums. We actually have like a body of work. Like so,
exactly. Yeah. So for us, it's different than, and it's our passion. I always say, like, if you love what you do, hey man, that's hard to ask somebody to think about doing something different. And again, it's not this thing of, I don't want to work hard. I work hard as fuck when I do it, when it's working, when everything is going, and between travel, you writing jokes, rehearsing jokes, comedy, open mics, refining the bit, all of this shit, press, everything you got to fucking do, write more material, all that shit is hard. So it's always been this thing for me that, and then I'll be honest with you, bro, this is the only thing that I decided to do with my life that wasn't conventional and that I've been successful at. This is the only thing, comedy and acting. And I've been blessed to do both. So when this shit happened, I was kind of like, hey man, I'm not trying to think about that. I'm not trying to think about not doing this.
Yeah.
In shape or form. Now mind you, we don't want to do triple runs and shit like that. the same way. You know, we're older now, but you know, don't tell me that I can't go tell jokes and entertain people, because that's legit what I love doing.
Well, that's why I think too is one of the thing. You know, one of the I think a lot of people don't think about it because they just don't think about it. But one of the things that helps all of us out is that when stuff's happening around us, we get to go fucking report it to everybody and give our take on it. And when we don't get to do, it's like all this shit's happening, and then we can't even like go and like, I mean, go get it out like that. Like that's a hard thing. That's like, and you know, I it's really weird. It's like everyone who's kind of like forgetting about all the arts right now. It's like, dude, what do you think that your kids are watching other people play? Someone made that game that like everyone's sitting around watching this guy play a game. Someone had to get that, dude.
That's right. And it's, and that's why I say like it really is, you know, but I felt like this before all of this shit went crazy, is that what we do for a living is special. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way. I'm saying that in I mean it in every way, shape, or form. Like, yo, you can go to school and train to be a doctor. You can go to school and train to be a nurse, a lawyer, an architect, all that stuff you can go get training for, because it's based off of numbers and circumstances and shit like that are specific to that field. You can't teach somebody to be funny, let alone for decades. You can't teach that. So anytime I would always tell comedians, like young comedians, I'm like, yo, respect what you do. Respect that, because it is something special. And that doesn't mean be an asshole about it. It just means that don't let somebody tell you that what you do for a living is just some kind of hobby, or just some little, hey, you're doing your comedy sketch. It's comedy skit. And I'm like, stop that, man. So I've always had this mentality towards it, you know, that I really, you know, once I decided to do it full time, I was like, shit, this is it. I gotta do this. I gotta stay here with it, man. So, you know, it's been weird to adjust to it, and hopefully it will come back. But let me ask you this, bro, because I did two in-person shows recently. Like, one was inside of a restaurant, right? And it was packed in there. It's like a lot of people in there and shit. And you know, first of all, I was like, y'all do know it's a fucking pandemic still. So I had my mask on, you know, before I went on stage. I'm sitting in the corner by myself, just a little table. No one's sitting at the table with me or anything like that. But here's what's crazy. As I'm watching the people laughing and talking with each other, it was not what it used to be. Because before, when you see that, you're like, oh, cool, these people look like they're enjoying themselves. I can't wait to get on stage and be a part of this. But the more I saw people open mouth laughing, you know, kind of like, I'm like, fuck. God damn. One dude
asked everyone just to like fucking laugh like this.
That's it. That's all. You know what? And you get mad at the people laughing really hard, like, hey man, it ain't that funny. Bring it down a little bit. Bring it down. Close your mouth when you laugh. You know, so
especially if the light is hitting right, you can see an actual piece.
Yes, you can see it drop. You can see the actual COVID molecule come out of the person's mouth. You know, so so that has kind of changed a little bit. And then I did an outside show with less people and everything, but it's still. So here's what I want to ask you. And so my point is that as I was leaving both of those shows, I really had to think to myself, I'm like, man, are we gonna get? Is the norm coming back? So what do you think? Do you think that's
dude, you caught me? I had this conversation last night with myself, dude. I was like, fuck, am I gonna like, okay, do I like this enough to keep doing it with these asterisks by it? Because it's not gonna be like it was. So it's like, we're gonna, you know, there has to be some kind of audible. So I did this show last night. It was a private show for this weed club. So I guess they own a bunch of one. It was like an SF. So my friend called and goes, hey dude, I need someone to close it. Can't really pay you, but we're gonna give you an ounce. And then I already knew I was not getting an ounce. So once he said you're getting an ounce, I was like, if I get half, I'll be happy. So he's like, we'll get you an ounce and like a gift bag. And I plan on doing like 15 or like 20. And I'm like, perfect, dude. So my roommate was like, oh, dude, let's get out of the house. Let's go do something, dude. So we like went there. I get there and it's just like, dude, it's on a patio and it's like 5 feet wide. It's like 75 feet long, but like 5 feet wide. So there's just like a table every 6 feet. And like, of course, the first table was like dipshits. So then it's like 20 feet away is my next hope that they give a fuck, dude. So it's just like so it's so crazy, right? So I get my bag and I get like 3 5-gram pouches of keef infused sativa, which I'm like, oh well, that's not an ounce, but you know, it's also keef infused, and you know, if you balance it, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I get like a bunch of pre-rolls, and I get like a thing of like gummies, which we'll get to edibles in a minute, dude. I'm not gonna let you off the hook on that. So, dude, so I'm like, oh, cool, like, oh, all right, this is a nice little score, and like you know, and so my roommate, I'm all, dude, fucking, here you go, here's like a pre-roll, and this kid, by the way, these are all hash infused, so it wasn't like some garbage shit, dude. This guy who went on before me, I won't say his name because I won't even. This guy, dude, threw a. First of all, I heard he said no at first because he wanted to be able to like pick out his own ounce. Wow. And I thought they were kidding. Like when they said that, I thought they were kidding. So I just didn't even think about it. And then apparently when I was on stage, this guy was throwing a fucking temper tantrum, dude. And like I was promised an ounce, and this is only only got 3 grams. Like I guess he like added it all together and was like, this is only 21.2. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like
that's
this is like,
hilarious.
But also, it's just like, dude, how do you not? Wait, have you not been fucking disappointed yet in 2020? Like, have you been around long? Right? Dude, this is
the tipping point for you.
Yes, dude. That's why as soon as he said an ounce, I'm like, I'm not getting an ounce because that's how 2020 has gone. Yeah. So I immediately was like, I'm not getting an ounce. All right, if I get anything, I'll be happy, dude. And so this guy threw up. And then he went up to the owners of the place and started fucking bitching at them and telling them that and it's like, dude, this is a holiday party for some employees that they spent all this money and we got like free food and shit. Like they spent money on this thing, dude. And it's just like, dude, you're like really, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, like you figure, you know, because of the, like everything now has like asterisks. I thought everyone knows there's asterisks everywhere. So it's like, you know, dude, yeah, maybe it sucks. Maybe we didn't get a whole ounce, but fuck, like, it's all asterisks now anyway. So you just gotta take it as it comes. But this dude, man, I guess he just woke up from a fucking coma and like didn't know shit was bad because I could not.
Like, that's why I said like he's snapping like it's like 2020, right?
What's up?
I said he's snapping like he doesn't know it's 2020. I'm like, you know where we are now.
And it's also like a comic with, he's not, dude. That's what I was laughing. I was like, if anyone was going to be a bitch, I want the honor of the guy who's going last and driving in here. Like, I want the honor of throwing a fucking temper tantrum, dude.
Exactly. You know what, man? And I will tell you, it's been a weird year in some senses because it's been a lot of putting shit in perspective from a lot of different angles, whether it be professionally, personally, and shit like that. Like we haven't had the worst of it compared to what we see, especially in Los Angeles. It's like a lot of homeless people in the city, especially nowadays. And then professionally, I think it's hard for us, bro, especially if we know that we can be better. We're always judging what we're doing because we know we can be better. Like I very rarely come across comedians that are like, yeah, I'm doing exactly what I need to do right in this moment. I'm totally cool with everything. Everything is fine right in this moment.
And if they are, I don't want to hang out with them.
Exactly. Like I very rare. Everyone we all want to be doing something different. Even if it's like I said, you talk to someone who is like, oh man, it's the ladder. You know what I'm saying? When you're climbing the ladder, you're looking up and you're like, man, I want to get up there. But then you don't realize that it's somebody looking at you like, I want to get where you are. So it's always these things. And so when you say the asterisk on where we are comedy wise, you know, people didn't realize it went from 100% capacity possibility to a quarter of that, literally. Yeah. So even if you were making decent money before the pandemic, your money has been cut by 75%. And if you weren't comfortable accepting that, then that's one thing. But if you have acknowledged that since March, how the fuck are you that pissed about not getting a full ounce? God damn, bro. It's like you do.
I mean, I don't think he's like a real.
You know,
I don't think he's like. I don't think he's had a, foot to the fire. I mean, yeah, if that's his only adversity was he didn't get his full ounce of free weed that was promised, like that we didn't even really like, dude. I mean, dude, it's not. I think like my housemate was like, "Oh, dude, it's not our fault. Like you're gonna use it to pay rent, dude. It's not like it's so obvious. Like you made some bad financial choices and now you're acting out on everybody."
Yeah, and so that was one of the things that I really did learn a lot more. Like, luckily, the year before was a really good year for me commercially. Like, I booked a lot of stuff, so I put money away. So when this year hit, I was like, man, fuck. All right, well, production shut down, clubs shut down. Like, we had 5 trips that we had planned to go. All of them shut down. Everything shut down. So it was this thing of being at home. And I do this joke now where I say I dealt with the pandemic way differently than other people. I said the first couple months, I was like, you know what? I've been working since I was 15. I deserve a break. I'm just going to take this time to just do nothing. Month 2, 3, I was like, okay, you know what? This is a time of reflection. Let's get to learn myself, Month 4, 5, it's like, maybe I'll start a hobby, the guitar, the flute. Right? And I said month 6 and 7, I was like, I wonder if that crack dealer up the street is hiring. I may need to diversify this portfolio, bro, because then it really started kicking in that even still, like, there have been more and more restrictions on what we can do, because like they just shut down yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was the last day for you can't dine indoor or outdoor now in Los Angeles. It's only takeaway food.
Oh shit! Yeah, I think it's here too now. Yeah, I'm in. Our shit's been shut down for like.
Yeah, so we're kind of like, and now here's what's weird about it though, Chris, is that I really don't like people all that much, other than when I'm performing. I really don't. Like I'm one of those people that I kid you not, bro. I'm one of the people that can be home all day and not bother me at all. Because we've been doing this for a while. We've been on planes. We've been in cars with people that we didn't want to be in the car with. We've done the shows and we appreciate the adulation. But after a while, we're like, we want to go back to the hotel and not be around people. So now multiply that by 20 years. So there's a part of me that's like, I can do this. What I do miss though, is I do miss that when you get that idea in your head that you can't take it to the stage right away.
Yeah.
I do miss that. I miss not being able to take the energy and say, okay, cool, let me go put this on stage and see how this sounds. Because Zoom shows ain't, hey man, and I bless their hearts.
Bless their little hearts, all of them.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near the same, bro.
Bless all of them, dude. And if I did 2 of them, and one of them was a complete fucking train wreck to the point where, because then just little things like I think I said before, but like little things. When I was doing this show, it was for the Jewish Community Center in Philadelphia. So I said something and I was just like kind of lost in thought. And I was like, oh yeah, I like dated this girl, and I told the story about how she was Jewish, and I didn't realize that you just couldn't say Jew if you're not, like, I just thought, because they all said Jew, and I didn't know that you couldn't say Jew, and then I said it, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, I can't tell. In real life, if I saw a smile, I know that, oh, I'm okay. Everyone's like, we're all good. I can keep going. And I just said it, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm just a dude yelling Jew in my backyard. and I can't even tell if they even think it's funny. I can't see anyone smiling. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
So you know what I've done though is virtual reality shows. I'm actually doing one tonight at 7:00.
What are those?
It's with the the virtual reality
thing. Yeah.
So these people. So there's an app in there, and I'm sorry if you guys are listening. And I've like, because I got to tell all the comics. Sorry guys. So you can fucking fast forward. Whatever. So it's this mask. It's called there's this app. It's called AltSpace, and it's in Oculus, and Microsoft bought them out. So basically, it's this this app where people can like build their own like worlds and stuff. So these dudes built their own comedy club, and they run like a comedy club. Dude, the bouncers are fucking Mario and Luigi, and I shit you not, dude. And so everyone is like avatars. So when you go on stage, you literally are like waiting on the.
You sure this wasn't just a really bad weed trip?
I will go on record saying I will not microdose again. and do a set.
Hilarious.
Because, dude, I was on one, dude. I listened to it later on, and I was like, I was a little fucking nerd monster on stage. But yeah, so on Halloween there was 100 people there. So it's like everyone from all over the world. If you're on in VR, you can go on this app, and then you can go into the comedy club. And there's a bunch of other events going on. But it's crazy because they're actual people, and even though you can hear their laughs. Like the laughs are like muted, but it's enough to where you can tell if you got them. And then, but everyone gives you like the clap emojis and all those emojis. So that's also how you know that you're doing well.
Oh, okay.
But you're looking around, and it's literally, and since everyone has the hand things and the head thing, it's like everyone's body is like accounted for. So you can read, like, I could tell I was doing, you can tell people were having fun, like,
oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So you really like that. Never once in the Zoom show was I like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I was getting ready for that show, and I was going like this, and I'm like, oh, dude, am I shadow boxing? Oh my God, I haven't shadow boxed before the set in so long, dude. It felt so good. I was like,
oh, nice.
You never do that, like, that's only like shit at a real club. So, I mean, there are like some technical things, but in terms of like trying out new shit, dude. Like I wrote like I wrote like 5 yesterday. I'm gonna just try it out tonight. And like, yeah.
Yeah. See, I would need something like that felt close to having people there, because I've done backyard shows where it's only a handful of people there, but it felt better than any Zoom show because you don't get, and then what people don't understand sometimes is it could be something as simple as a facial expression that'll spark a new joke, a thought, a different direction of where you're gonna go. And you've done this before, you can go on stage and riff before you even go into your actual material. And that it's hard to have that kind of energy sometimes when it's through a computer screen. And there's a part of me that appreciates the platform, and they want to give us a way to get these creative thoughts out. But there's another thing that, like I said, it's an energy behind it that can't be replicated through a computer screen. You just can't. So there's a part of me, man, that is I need stand-up to come back in order for me to have the same interest in it that I enjoyed. Meaning that, whether it be a year or so, depending on what they want to do with a vaccine or, guidelines and all that shit, I need real audiences to come back, because that's how I built my career, was not off of being in front of audiences, but having the, how it is, you have the nervous energy, the excitement of being in front of a real audience. And that's how a lot of stuff kind of built from that. And hopefully we'll see how it goes, man. But in the meantime, so when people ask me to do their shows, I respond. My first thought is, I was like, oh, sure, because I don't want to be a dick. But I kid you not, most of the time when I agree to do it, there's always this apprehension afterwards when I'm like, why did I agree to do that? So, but I will say, in all fairness, when I have done them, I start out the show and I'll always be like, all right, man, I'm doing the exact amount of time you asked me. That's it. I'm not doing a fucking second over. I will be done. I want to get this shit over with quick.
Dude, I'm walking out in the middle of my closer if I need to.
Damn right. It's like, okay, see, you hear the toilet flush as soon as the 10 minutes. But I do find myself enjoying it as I'm going on. I'm like, so I end up doing a little bit more time over, but I never go into them like, man, I can't wait to do this show. It's just like, and so like I said, hopefully, we'll see how things are in about a year. So where it's really bad though, bro? New York, because the theater district is closed down. So a lot of those businesses in that area, which were generated by the theater district, none's happening.
I mean, the Creek and the Cave just closed down, which was like a huge. If you're a comedy nerd, dude, that was like. I mean, you weren't anyone unless you went there and did a 1 minute spot in a goddamn open mic. Yeah. Dude, when they first told me I had 1 minute, I thought they were kidding. And I was like, okay. And they're like, no, it's like a minute. And I'm like, wait, it's a minute and I may not even get on? Oh. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so I guess I'm not saying that. place is closed. No, I'm kidding. No. So Creek in the Cave, dude. Yeah. So that's another
So when you say they're closed, they're not coming back.
Yeah, done. Dude, she's selling the fucking dude. They had like this like fundraiser, and then they they bought this awesome marquee in front of the building, and they just are trying to like sell it now to somebody. It's really sad.
Well, you know that's probably gonna happen with the underground, but I mean, underground, he wasn't taking care of the underground before the pandemic.
So. Yeah, I was the last headliner that they had to cancel, dude.
Really?
Dude, I could tell. I like him a lot, man, and I could tell that he was sad that he had to tell me that at like in a text. You know, yeah. It was so weird because have you got like a text where like you can still, even though you can't hear someone's voice, you're just like, oh, that person felt bad for doing it. I could just tell that he was like, dude, I'm sorry, man. It was like, no, like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I know, dude. And you know what? The crazy thing about the underground is it's my home club. So I always have a fondness for it. I liked it more than Giggles.
I love it.
Parlor and all that shit. I just love the energy of it. And I still hold on to the memories of the club when it was around the corner at the first original location, which was, man, it was one of the best clubs in the fucking country, bro, hands down. And so to see it go, like I was just up in Seattle. I had to fly up there to get to New York. That's how crazy shit has been. I had to fly in order to get into, because California was on the no-fly list for New York. So you had to do COVID testing and all this shit. So I had to fly up to Seattle. Bro, it's bananas. I had to fly there the night before, fly to New York from there. And I remember, so I was in Seattle for the night, and I hadn't been up to Seattle since March, like February, March. So I'm driving around downtown, trying to look at everything. Man, Pioneer Square looks like a ghost town, bro. And the entire building is boarded up now. The entire Swanee's and the club is boarded up.
Oh, damn.
So it's hard, man. But especially when you know it's a place that you started your career, it's hard. I mean, because I know for you guys in San Francisco, I mean, I know Dave came out to help save the punchline and all that type of stuff.
Oh, yeah, dude. He totally saved it, dude.
Yeah,
that's so great. Like,
yeah. Did you watch his 18-minute thing that he just did?
Was that the one when he was like angry that they aren't like paying him?
Yeah,
yeah. It was it was great, right?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was and man, and I'm sure you've seen Dave more than me. And actually, when I worked the punchline, I was headlining the week, and then Dave came in and I featured for him that weekend. And that was the last time I think I really worked the club, I think. But you know, we got to talking a little bit. We talked about breakdancing and stuff. So I know he's a nice guy and shit. But watching his breakdown of the card situation where he got screwed over with the card game, and then to see it on a bigger scale with Comedy Central, every performer watched that. I guarantee every performer watched that shit and was like, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're gonna do that to Dave Chappelle, how many
we have
screwed over? You know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. If you're gonna fuck over Dave and then try not to pay him for some stuff, then what chance do the little guys have that are trying to get
exactly. And I remember doing something. I forgot what I did for Comedy Central. It was years ago, but I remember wanting to use the footage for like a promo reel that I wanted to edit and put together. And whoever they had that was really keeping an eye on this shit, whatever was put out on the internet, this is around MySpace days. So that's how long ago it was. But they were watchdogs of that shit. So if they saw any of their footage, they would yank it down. And I'm like, but goddamn, man, all y'all gave me was a few $100 and a watch. I can't use the footage to help promote the fucking show.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, so watching Dave kind of break that down, I was like, good for you, bro. Good for you. I mean, it's now it's hard for everybody to have that level of integrity. Let's be honest, bro, because not everybody is Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
But you do, it does force you to kind of look at the business in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest. Yeah, we want to make a living at it, but at the essence, we love performing. That's why we do it. I don't know any comedian that is still doing it this long that has said, I only got into it for the money. I don't know anybody that has said that.
Especially now, dude.
Exactly. Every comedian that I know that has been at it for a long time and misses it, that's the key. That misses it now, they love performing. The money is just an extra. It's a bonus. The adulation is cool. It's great. It's fine. You always want to be appreciated for what you do, but it's still this thing of I love performing. Like but I'm never one of that. I'm never gonna say if I could do it for free, I would do it for free. Let's halt the brakes here. Let's. I got bills to pay, bro.
I also like to eat too. So
yes, exactly. But at the essence of what we do, we love it. So we love performing, and to see someone an entity like a Comedy Central come along and try to take the joy out of that. It's interesting because they're a juggernaut compared to us that are still just trying to, do what we love to do and make a good living at it.
Yeah. Well, they've ruined like fucking roast forever. Like, dude, I never want to see another roast ever until like fuck, dude. Maybe like Obama, maybe, or like something crazy, like a crazy one, and it can't be on Comedy Central. It has to be on pay-per-view, and it has to be ran by people who know what they're doing.
You're talking about like you trying to go back to the Dean Martin.
Yeah, that's the whole. Because that's why I thought they just bastardized it. Is because the idea of that is to like tear someone down and then bring back up again, but everyone are all friends. It's not like I don't get called in and get to shit on fucking Chevy Chase because that's insane, dude. Like why would like how could you? I don't know. I thought they kind of like ruined that whole thing, dude. Like
it's hard sometimes because for me, and I won't single out a specific entity in this, but because it happens not just with places like Comedy Central, but there's other aspects too. My issue started to be when you're seeing people get a platform and then you watch them and they're not funny. Now, when you say that now, it's probably people listening to this and they're saying, well, what do you mean not funny? It's nothing to do with being bitter or hating because, even if you ever have somebody that you don't like personally, but they're funny and you have to acknowledge that they're funny.
All the time.
Right. So that exists is my point, is that I can look at what you do and be objective about it. If it's funny, it's just funny. Now, on the reverse of that, if it's not funny, come on, man. What the fuck you want me to do? So
yeah, that's what, dude. I remember people used to say all the time, like hater, or whatever. And I would be like, wait. No, I don't think I just love something so much, and when I see it done
shitty,
or I see someone doing fucking shortcuts, or I see like, oh, that's obvious. It offends me, dude. I'm sorry. I get it. I love it so much. I mean, I'm also, dude, I get offended at some of the shit I do sometimes too. So I'm fair across the board with being offended by
it. But that's why I say like the people who love it, you're gonna get a different perspective than someone else that just kind of is a novice at it or just watches it kind of, sparingly. I watch people like, so I see people's Netflix specials and I would try to watch them and I would watch it for like about 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm like, what am I missing? What is this? What is this? So I'll give you an example of a situation where, and I won't give the name, but let's just say there's a booker for a well-known show. It's on now. It's one of the late night shows. And so now here's how and to put it in perspective, like I said, I don't always just go off my opinion. I ask other people that are around. And that particular night, my wife happened to be right there when the show was on. Now, before I watched it, I said, hey, babe, come watch this with me. It was a comic. She was on there. And my wife watched the show. I didn't say anything. I gave no opinion of anything. She watched the entire 5-minute set. And the first thing she says to me is, why did you have me watch that bullshit? Now, that was her opinion. And the audience is you're getting sparing laughter, like, and you're getting chuckles, no hard laughs, no applause, no nothing, none of that shit is happening. But she has this major platform on this major show. So as I'm watching it, I'm like, man, I can't go tell somebody that I think it's not funny because they'll think that I'm hating on what she's doing. So fast forward to, I got a chance to showcase for the show. My manager has set it up to where the person was coming to Flappers. So I get my set ready, and you know how we do. We come from the school of setup, punchline, callback. I'm putting all the ingredients in this shit. I'm hitting every button in this, and I'm pacing it out because I'm one
all of the tools in the toolbox that you
everything. I'm putting everything in it. Every like laughs per second, not per minute. Laughs per second. Like how many people are laughing? How many seconds are going by before I get a laugh? How many? So but I've always been that way when I write, and I still to this day I am. Like I'll listen to it and I'll be like, all right, that's too long without a laugh. I got to tighten it up. I'm still that guy. So I get the set together. I'm at Flappers. I see the booker, and she already has this kind of air about her, like I'm better than anyone in this room. Now, mind you, this chick is younger than me. She's young in comedy. Young in comedy. The problem is not that she's a female at all. It's just she's young in comedy with an air about her that she's better than anyone else in the room. I'm like, I see other people in this room that have been doing comedy for a long time and they kill regularly. But you're coming here to judge these people based off of your mentality of this, and you probably haven't even been paying attention to comedy for 10 years. So I said, it is what it is. It's fine. So we have the conversation, and I say to her, you know, still on the humble, I'm like, hey, I appreciate this. Thank you for this opportunity to, you know, do the thing. Now, you know, when you don't, it's not a, I hate when you're nice to someone and they don't return the niceness. I hate that because now I feel like, do you think I'm gonna kiss your ass? Because that's not gonna be the thing.
Yeah, so, and also you also can't backtrack and then start. All right, you goddamn bitch. Listen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, already nice. I can't take the niceness away, you know. So she's just like, yeah, it's cool, it's fine. And just so you know, I mean, we only have people on the show that murder. We only have people on the show that murder. And I say, oh, okay, cool. And she's like we had a girl on about a week or so ago, and she just killed it. And I kid you not, Chris, in my head, I'm like, wait, she talking about the same chick that got no laughs for 5 fucking minutes?
Oh, they were, right? Of course they were.
They were talking about the same person. And I'm like, but see, that person was given a major platform and made to feel like what she put on that stage and in front of that camera was on point. Whereas when you look at it objectively and you say, well, wait a minute, how often did they laugh? How often did you get solid laughs, not baby laughs, not little chuckles? And then when you see those types of things and you see these people get Netflix specials, when you see them get, you know, constant late night sets and all of this stuff, to me, it's not, and you can't blame the person for taking the gig, by the way. It's not on them. If you give me a special, I'm gonna take it. I don't give a fuck if I'm ready or not. I'm gonna take it. I get that. But what it does do is it diminishes the actual art form, because now people think that everyone that gets on TV is going to be like this.
Yeah,
and I think that's where the problem is.
Well, yeah, dude, I'll even double down and make it sadder, dude. I interviewed my buddy from Sirius XM. He's the producer, and they in the comedy department, Big Lou, and I was with him in the room when I was doing a contract, and I was working, and I was in the room with them when they had to add laughs to stuff all the time, dude. Like,
wow,
all the time. Dude. Wow. So I've told this story before, and I'll say it again because this will blow your mind. So I saw this show, and this kid bombed, dude, like fucking hard. Like, and he does this character thing, and I know he's had a bad night, dude. I mean, it's not, I don't like it, but I also know that I've seen him kill before. So he had a really bad night, dude. Really bad night. So they took all 10 comics sets, Comedy Central, and then they put them on the internet, so then everyone could vote. So you could vote for your favorite of the top 10. Well, clearly the guy who there's no noise at all other than me being like, what the fuck in the background. You can probably hear me faintly. Dude, I'm like sitting there. It was great. This was the girl who I was dating at the time. We both looked at each other and we were making the face at the same time, like, the fuck is this, dude? So I'm like in the room, right? And this guy, he's like emailing Comedy Central, and they're like, okay, can you sweeten the mix, which is what they call it when someone doesn't earn laughs and they add it. Sweeten the mix. So they sweeten the mix. So he sends it over. They write him back. Yeah, can you make it better? Dude, this goes on like 3 volleys, dude. On the fourth volley, he's in there in his chair, and it's been going on all day, and he's just like, and like he doesn't even know that we're in the room. He's just like, dude, he wasn't fucking funny, man. He wasn't fucking funny, dude. I don't know what do you want me to do? He didn't do well. I'm sorry, but fucking
bro.
So either
go ahead.
No, but it is a strange thing because so do you go with only 9 comics and you're like, that was really bad, bro. We're not gonna air it because you were there. You know what happened. Or and it's comedy, so you eat it. Yeah. People eat it, dude. So and I could also see you don't want to air that whole thing either. So it's like, what do you do? But also, it's such bullshit, right? It's like,
and this is why I say, I've lived my professional life by this. I never take a position in something if I don't think I can handle it. I just don't. I was offered a chance to audition for Saturday Night Live, and I struggled with it for a few days, and you know, my manager at the time was like, they really want to see you. You know, they really want, you know, they see your stand up and they really want to see you. And they said, and you know, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And they said, well, do you do any impressions? And I didn't do any. I still really don't do any. I mean, if I have a joke, I can write something for a joke, but I don't do impressions. It's not my thing. So at the time, I kind of struggled with the thought of, man, how often am I going to be asked to audition for SNL? How often is that going to happen? And I was this close to saying, yes, I'll do it, because I even worked on shit. Like I even worked like, man, who can I impersonate? Who can I do? And I was this close to saying, fuck it, I'll do it. And then she said something to me, bro, and it still has stuck with me to this day. She said, listen, just so you know, I want you to do it as your manager. I would encourage any chance you get to be in front of someone like this or a situation like this, you know. But I just want to I want to tell you that if you go in front of them and you don't do well, they will remember that
forever.
Yes, she said they will remember that you did not do well. So she said, you know, you can take a chance if you want to, but I'm telling you now, if it doesn't go well, they'll remember that for a long time. And that's what made me not do it. I had to turn it down because I was like, I'm not going to go take that shot and fuck it up and I'd never be able to watch SNL ever, you know? So
you couldn't watch it.
You know what I'm saying? So I told myself, you know, but I've always approached everything that way. So that's why whenever I do get opportunities, I put myself into 110% because I'm like, thank you for this shot. I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure I come off in the best light possible. And that's why I wish other entertainers would do, because, you know, man, too many people are nice with each other, Chris. They really are. Like, I mean, come on, man. If your friend's set is not great, tell your friend their set's not great, but tell them like, hey, we could work on this. But when you just stroking each other's ego and then a motherfucker got to sweeten the mix 18 million fucking times, come on, bro. Who the fuck? Who's the benefit? You know, so I know you say I want to tell I know we only got a little bit of time left, and I told my wife, I said I wasn't going to be long today, but so I wanted to tell people watching the show the story that I tell people. As a matter of fact, I just told somebody this story last night, by the way. So for the people watching, edibles. So Chris, were we working together? The Punchline, we were working together.
Yeah.
So we were working at the Punchline, and I had smoked. I considered myself a vet of smoking at the time, and I just kind of thought that they were all the same. Smoking, edibles is all the same. And so I remember, Chris, you gave me it was a brownie, and you said, hey man, here, just eat this much, because I made it. And I was like, I was like, all right, cool, no problem. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, look at this motherfucker. I eat however much I want to eat, but it's fine, sure. So I eat a little bit, and I remember asking you, I said, okay, so how long will it take to kick in? You said, oh, about 15, 20 minutes, you should feel something within 15, 20 minutes. So I eat the little piece you give me, and then I still have some with me, and then we leave. I go, we both separate, you go do something. So I still have this with me. So I eat the piece, 15, 20 minutes go by. I feel nothing. Like there's not even a light, anything. So I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I probably ate too small of a piece. So I eat another piece, right? And dude, again, another 15, 20 minutes go by, nothing. And I'm like, kind of like bragging now, like, see, this is why I don't fuck with edibles, because they have no effect on me. You know,
they don't work on me. Yep.
Yeah, they don't work on me. They don't do anything for me. So we ended up going to a Denny's, and we're sitting at the Denny's, bro. And all out of nowhere, I just started laughing for no reason. And no one had said anything, nothing. I just started laughing hysterically. And so this great feeling came over me. And I'm like, oh man, this must be the euphoric feeling they talk about with edibles. This is a great, why have I not done this before? And about 10 minutes after that, it felt like I was in Raiders of the Lost Ark when the fucking faces started melting. I was like, and I was hot. I couldn't get cool enough, and I couldn't really say words all that much. And I remember whoever we were with, we were supposed to go smoke somewhere after that. And so I'm sitting in the back seat, bro. No, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and I had to put my head out the window to get air. And that was the only time in my life I was like, I think I'm about to die. I think I'm, you know. And so the girl says, she says, so you want to go to this other spot? And I turned to her, and I was like, no, you gotta take me. I can't be here.
No.
I get in the lobby, bro. I push the button, and I stumble upstairs. I get one shoe off, fall face first into the bed, and then now the room is spinning, so I had to keep my eyes open. And I said, God, I promise you, please make this feeling go away, please. And so to this day, that has been my barometer for never to eat more than what I've been told to eat or do.
That is so funny. Is I can see where it would come across like cocky if someone just came up to you and were like, "Oh, here, dude," but don't. But then again, it's like some shit from like a horror movie. Like if someone came up and was like, "Here, but only have this much," I'd be like, "Ah, fuck, dude. All right, maybe I should only have." But that's so great how you like. I mean, dude, there's so many that I've seen comics like forget how to do stand-up comedy.
Oh wow. I would never try to perform off edibles. I would never. There's no way in the world, bro. I have had like I've smoked before and gone on stage, but I've never been out of it to where I'm like, I can't say the words that I need to say. And that's another reason why when I ask people about certain strains, I'm like, hey man, what is this? Tell me exactly what the strain is. And I remember the first time I tried oil. And I was at an open mic in Washington State, and this was, we just kind of hanging out there. And it was as soon as I had smoked it, I was like, yeah, I can't even operate a vehicle right now. I can't even take that chance, So because, even though, like I said, you love the relaxed feeling, you still want to make sure that people enjoy what you put up there. And that's why I say it's always this thing of, let me make sure that what I'm putting up there, I can walk away from and feel like, because I mean, come on, we've had sober bad sets before where we walked away like, ugh, gotta wash that shit off.
Dude, that's the worst too, because you're like, fuck, I have nothing to blame.
I know.
Except for just not being good in that one moment of time, dude. That's the worst. Oh, that's the worst.
Oh my God, bro. Yeah, man. So Anyway.
Dude, thanks so much for doing this, dude. And it was so great seeing you, man.
Oh no, thank you, man. And hopefully, Chris, man, things can get back to somewhat normality, because you said something at the beginning of this that I didn't really. I mean, I think about it from time to time, but it was just a reminder that aside from missing the stage, like, you missed the camaraderie and the brother and sisterhood of this business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were used to seeing each other multiple times, whether it be gigs and this and that, even local, when you're at your local club, we're used to seeing each other. Hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And when you don't see these people for months at a time, you're like, wow, shit has really changed. So I'm glad that you're doing well. Good luck with the show and everything you're doing future wise, man. And whenever you back this way, hopefully we can eat a meal again. I don't know where the fuck this shit's gonna go, but
yeah. Well, dude. So I'm gonna be in Vegas. So that's also like a cool thing, was I know I'm like central to everything. So
yeah,
whenever people are coming through Vegas, that's where I'm gonna be, and hopefully tickets.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So, anything you want to plug?
The podcast that I do now regularly is called Critical and Thinking, with myself and Ian Harris. I have a web series that you can see past episodes of right now. And you can find Critical and Thinking on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and all that stuff. And then the web series, This Is the Bullshit I'm Talking About, that's out there on YouTube. You can find that. There's a dry bar special that people seem to love a lot, which is great. I mean, I guess Yeah, it got a lot of good reviews, and it's weird when people, sometimes when you read reviews, we have a natural tendency, even though we could read 10 good reviews, we're still looking, say, anybody say anything bad? No one better than not say anything fucking bad. So people seem to love the dry bar special. You can check that out, and that's available now. And then the website is comediantybarnett.com, which has links to all these different types of things. And I got new content coming out soon. I'm working on other things here. So that's it.
Nice, dude. Yeah, dude. I always remember when you just started being like, oh, now I gotta like brand myself. I remember I was there when you had like your DVD and you had your spiel at the end, and you're like, ah, fuck, I don't like doing this, dude. And I'm the same exact way. So I see how hard that you worked and how you're just like, it's gotta get done. So
yeah,
that was awesome, dude. I just remember it was really funny. You're like,
thanks, bro.
Like, yeah, but you really, no one knew except for when she came to the back. You're like, oh, God damn it, dude.
Hey man, it really is. Because then you feel like now you got to be the salesman and all that stuff. Yeah. So there's a part of you that's a little like, God damn it, I don't want to do this. But I think it just became part of me telling people. I was like, hey, you guys, and I would make a joke out of like, here's a part, you know how to do it. Go see the website. Blah, blah, blah. So I kind of turned it into that because, my stage show, I've always wanted the stage show to still be like, hey, if you like me enough, you'll find me in all of this type of stuff. Yeah. But then you realize, the more mediums there are out there, people are distracted. People are on their phones or tablets all the time. There's content all over the place. So you do have to be a businessman about it. And, I've gotten better at it. I've gotten a little bit better at it. So,
awesome, man. So, well, dude, thanks so much for coming in. I'm going to fire up this in your honor now. All right, buddy.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. Hold on.